do mean to explain, but every time I try, I lose the thread.
Call for days, check. What's up?
Can you or can you not withstand the challenges of the omniscient horse? Put simply, can you deal or no deal with tonight's Dares of Eternity?
Question. Do you play GTA 5? I've played it back when I had it on the 360 for a little bit, but outside of that, I don't own GTA 5 as of right now. Did this get bugged out? This is Hive.
They are not here to make friends, for they are the Hive. further combat. galactic horse wishes to see you traverse our wacky obstacle course. Spin the wheel of adversity. Assembled unwillingly from our studio audience, please welcome the Taken. Desires further proof of your abilities.
I don't know why.
Behold the prized treasurer of the Eternal Horse. Ah, big money, big bucks, big money. One door holds your final opponent. The horse insists you guess.
Again, I mean, Not take it, but
My apologies, contestant. Perhaps you will have better luck next time. For your final challenge tonight, echoes of the past draw swords against you. Good luck.
damn.
Now, conclude the fight. The great steed who trots between the realms thanks you for playing with us tonight. Although we are held in a perpetual void, we hope you will join us next time, right here on Dares of Eternity. Good night. The Immaculate Horse asked paracausal entities to name their favorite contestants. Survey says Guardians on tonight's Dares of Eternity. Now spin the wheel and let us learn against whom you must compete. Prove yourself against the blade and tusk of the Cabal. Four foes pour into this realm at the behest of the ageless horse. Excitement and prizes await you beyond the demented Dares of Eternity obstacle course. Step up and give our wheel a a spin.
I probably won't be on Generation Zero tonight. Maybe another time.
Assembled unwillingly from our studio audience, please welcome the Taken. Demands more from you. I must oblige. Treasurer appears. The cosmic equine smiles upon you. You feel the touch of its celestial hoof. Your final opponent awaits behind one of these doors. Which shall you choose? Correct. The celestial horse bestows a boon. Their drop pods have fallen from across the Paraverse to be here tonight. Survive the final round. The great steed who trots between the realms thanks you for playing with us tonight.
Dare I say squeak, squeak, squeak. What's good, Block?
Although we are held in a perpetual void, we hope you will join us next time, right here on Dares of Eternity. Good night.
Actually, I think both of these are good rolls for this. What's good? Nothing much, just getting a grind on Destiny 2 right now. Hold on to the screen light launcher. Yeah, I'm kind of in a mixed mood right now, though. So, long story short, basically I was talking to Crazy about, you know, about me going back to Michigan and stuff like that. I basically was telling, you know, several people about that, so everybody kind of already know the story. So my only, issue was trying to figure out if I could find a place to go back. At first, Shay volunteered, but he was living with his girlfriend at the time. But based on what he told me, I think something went on between him and his girlfriend. I kind of know the story, but I don't want to throw it out there entirely. So things might not be working out to the point. So I think me trying to move in with him is basically out the question. So Crazy was going to try to see if I'll be able to crash in with him, even though me and his family, I guess, are on a mutual terms of a, I guess, a mutual relationship. But long story short, basically I've been told no, so I'm just trying to figure out how things is just going to be at this point when March first hits, basically. Because now it's to the point where it would have been easy if I knew where I was going to be at. And all I would have to worry about is just trying to get a job. But now things just went entirely in a different direction. Pretty much, yeah. And honestly, I kind of am in a midlife crisis right now. Like, I'm on this mental thinking, telling myself, is this life telling me that this is as far as I go? Basically, my life may end early before I even hit 30. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too hard for it, maybe I'm thinking too negative, and I don't want to feel that way though. But honestly though, this has been quite a track record, and I feel like I'm only been delaying the inevitable at this point. Because it seems like whether I have a good job and end up losing that, or have a good place and end up losing that, or even if things went in a different direction, like I'm not getting anywhere in life, and that's just what irritates me. And honestly, though, I don't know how much further I can keep going with this. I'm kind of just done with everything. Or at least I'm just trying to keep telling myself, don't be dumb, but I don't know, man. I just really don't know at this point. I'm trying to remain calm about it, not get it best of me, but it's getting to me, but at the exact same time, it's not. Maybe I knew it was coming, and maybe I didn't. I just didn't know how exactly. So that's just what frustrates me right now. Have you tried going through family again and pushed you like we talked about? Homie, if I be honest with you, I don't think things is gonna work out with family, especially that with my mother. If I'm gonna be real talk with you, if that even was possible, I'm pretty sure that the next time we bump heads, it's not gonna end nice. And I'm not talking about for her sake. No, scratch that. I am talking about for her sake. Because honestly, I'd about had it at that point. And as for my sister, though, as much as I love her, her lifestyle and mine just doesn't coexist. So I don't even think living with either of those people is possible. I, at this point, really ain't got nobody else that I could talk to about this, or even let alone try to be able to see if I can move in with. I don't like being a beggar. I don't like having to do this, though. And honestly, though, it just sucks that out of everybody that I know, I'm the only one that's stuck having to do this consistently. I guess another frustrating factor is the fact that whether I know whether I can survive or not, it's just how long. I know nobody really knows the future though, but I like to be able to take charge of it at some point of knowing where I could be at. Even so, even deep down, I'm not the type of person that wants to hurt family or friends, or even acquaintances for that matter. Even acquaintances gets a part benefit, but I don't know. Friends, family, life, enemies, and so on and so forth. Everything can be broken and have limitations. And honestly, I'm tired of trying to survive. I want to be able to.
Or can you not withstand the challenge?
I wanted things to be stable. That's what I really want. Understanding and stability.
Can you
and I'm not getting either of that right now.
No deal with tonight's Dares of Eternity.
If you want to, man, I don't want to force you to do something that you don't have to do. What's up, man?
What up? You had all this time, and I've told you multiple times, you had all this time to find a job that was shitty, that was not great, something, just to start with something, and instead you didn't. I understand where you're at, the complications are annoying, I understand that 100%, and I understand even getting to those places would have been a problem. But even if it was to walk all the way down 20 miles just to get to that one spot, to that one job that you absolutely despise, you could have at least made something, saved it, and then you wouldn't have to be worried about whether this would be your last night or not, or whatnot. This isn't life telling you that this is the end of your fucking road. This is life telling you, hey man, you got one option. Or, well, you got two, but your friend is not letting you take option two because I've been down that road. It is not fun. It is not good. If anything, it hurts more on everyone else's part and even more on your part. Like,
yeah,
I get it.
It is crazy though because it's not his fault or, you know, anybody in his families. I get where they're coming from, and they've been nice enough to let me stay around before. My frustration is that I just knew that this would have been one of those things that just couldn't keep going the way it is, and as much as I would want to do these things, or I try to do them, because trust me, I did try to, you know, try to apply for a job, I did try to do this and that, I didn't really get it in a way that, you know, I was really hoping to get. Like, I didn't get, I called a job, they told me they would try to get back at me, or I try to call them so they could, you know, keep knowing what's going on. That shit hit its limit. I waited for him to let me know whether, you know, his family was able to take me in or not. That pretty much just hit its limit not too long ago. And pretty much all my options are hitting this limit. So it's not whether, you know, I do these things or not. It's just, is whether it can go past that point or not, basically. And honestly, I've broken the limits, but even then, a limit is still a limit, and that's just where I'm at, when I'm feeling that.
When it comes to you living on your friend's couch, and you having no place for yourself, there is no limits. Because it's either you find a way to live on your own, to survive on your own, or you keep jumping from house to house to house, and then each person getting limited on whether they want you back or not, or wanting you to be there or not because of whatever their situation is. It's not worth it. It's really not worth all that struggle. Should have just, like I said, found some sort of job, whatnot, or even gone to them, call them every day, text them, immediately be like, hey, yo, man, what the hell? What's the problem? What did I do wrong? Why are you not accepting this? Why are you not looking into it? Something to push. So that way, you would have had something. You really would have had something, whether it be even $3 an hour, which I doubt that is how that state is. Could you, if it was $3 an hour, that'd be stupid. But, still. The point is, there was options. This is your other option that you got now. This is actually your last option you got now. Even though, yes, your mother would butt heads, you and your mom. Even though, yes, your situation with your sister is not exactly compatible, you really don't got much option, but you really don't. And like I said, your friend, I'm not going to let you decide to take the easy route. You're not going to just... Uh-oh, don't die.
Go ahead. Weird game mechanic.
I saw that. Oh, Jesus. Yep, there it is. But I'm not going to let you just out of nowhere say, I don't know if this is the end, I'm not feeling it. No, man. You're not going to say that shit and expect someone to just let that happen. As harsh and as rude that is, there's no fucking other option. That is not even an option on the table. You can pick your mother, pick your sister.
Homie,
you know those two will let you in.
Let me get you to understand this. My family has trust issues for several reasons. It's pretty much with our own insecurities and our mothers. It's bad enough that we had to deal with it on a daily basis, but to the point where this has been a cycle that's been gone too far, to even to the point my fathers are dealing with this shit too, and even my friends seen it from time to time and dealt with it. Yeah, I just don't want to keep doing this over and over again. I'm thinking that with me being in another state, that things would have been a little bit more better, and it started off like that too. Things did start off getting better, but the moment I lose those things, because either where I'm at or how the job operates, everything goes back to square one, and I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of trying, even though I'm not trying to ask for much or not asking everything at all. I just want stability. I want understanding. I just want to be able to live. And it just sucks that everybody else can do either something so similar yet so different, it could be where they at and call it, I don't know, maybe a good day or a good moment. But, and I know that it's not to say this, that my life in general is the worst in the world. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is, out of everybody that I know, met, talked to, whatever the case may be, I'm the only one out of this circle that's going through this kind of shit. Everybody had their trials and tribulations, granted, but they survived it. They had ways, they had options. My options are pretty much out and about, or very little to none. It's easy to say, you know, to tell me what you're going to tell me because y'all have those options, or y'all went through them and survived. But you also got to learn that I'm not like everybody else. I don't have that capability or the options. And even if I work for it though, it doesn't give me that, it doesn't allow me to have that exact same measurement as everybody else. Everybody else got someone they can rely on, or got something that they can fall back on, whether, you know, it's something they know how to do or something they can do as some sort of substitution. But me though, I don't know, man. I tried different things. I tried doing things that I'm comfortable with. It goes, there's so much with it, and I'm tired. I'm really tired. My sister went through the exact same situation that I went through, and even my stepfather too. And yet, she ended up being somewhere better than where I'm at right now. My closest friends, you know, they got family members or work areas that they can work with and be somewhere at least you can call stable. I got other family members are doing bigger and better things, and yeah, I don't want to try to make a sob story or an excuse about it though, but honestly though, I'm just really tired of trying to meet so many people's requirements and measurements, and at the end of the day though, it still doesn't get me nowhere. I'm not that type of person that wants to ask too much or anything, but when your options doesn't favor you or doesn't get you just to where you need to be at, what else can you do, honestly?
Keep going. Because there's no option to stop. The only time that you get to stop is when you're not alive.
Yeah.
Hey, it's cookie dough.
I'm not saying, okay, so just understand this. I'm not saying I'm signing myself up for suicide, so I'm gonna just put that out there. I'm not talking about suicide. Yes, I may say I'm dumb, but I'm not planning on doing anything suicidal. Though I won't lie, that has been on my thought for numerous reasons. But I'm not going on that route as much as that's in my mind. But what I am saying is, yeah, I'm getting close to hitting that limit in life. And it sucks though, because I do like the people that I talk to. I do have a connection with the people that I care for. But I also have a way and limit how I do things, and one way or another though, it leads to questionable and very unusual misunderstanding kind of situations that puts me to where I'm at right now. Granted, some of it is due to my own actions. I won't lie on that. But other times, though, it's just due to other people not really understanding where I'm coming from. And I'm not to say, it's not to say that they don't. They do, or at least they do got the idea where some of it, but others though, well.
No, you're right. We didn't live your life. You're right. None of us have ever lived your life.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. It's not to say that someone like you had to have a hard life. I'm pretty sure you had your hard ones. You told me some of your hard ones, and I won't, you know, throw it out there. But you also had your ways of being able to deal with it. Like, I don't know what it is though exactly, but for what I know, it seems like people have something that allows them to be able to be okay or to be stable where they at. But other people like me who doesn't have that many options can only go yay so far with it. I've been doing this shit for damn well 26 years of my life, but if we're not counting the ones where, you know, where I was young and all that jazz, basically about maybe 10 to 16 years at least when I started at, you know, being treated like an adult in that aspect. And I just hate this ridiculously repetitive cycle of just going back and forth with life and the people that I once tried to get close. Because I'm not sure if all of this is happening due to what I've done in the past, or maybe it's something else entirely different. I'm not sure if there's something that's important for me to let go. It's just so many things, and all I got is just very little answers for it. I mean, I just don't get it. Like, what do people let go in order to have the life that they have? Where I could do something that's similar, and I'm still stuck at pretty much back at square one. Damn well near ground zero.
I mean, I can't answer for everyone, but I can tell you that they kept fighting. They never once backed up and thought about, well, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go, I don't know what I am doing. All those people that I have encountered with that had similar problems, the first thing that they said was, well, I'm gonna go get a job. And like I said, they immediately pushed it. And I'm not saying you didn't, and I'm not implying that you never have. But they did whatever they did. They did whatever they could. They pushed to the point where they're kissing their cocks for it. That's how far they went. And then when it came down to, well, I'm going to treat you like shit, they let him treat him like shit. They let him treat him like garbage. They let him treat him to the point where they had to live in a fucking van that was 20 miles outside of their fucking hometown just to have 12 an hour. And they went through all that bullshit for a year straight just to have enough money to go live in Texas. A year straight of dealing with all that bullshit. Because they knew damn well that if they just stayed where they're at, they're going to keep going in circles. They're going to keep going in circles and never stop going in circles. Until it finally, once they figured out that the only way they could stop going in circles was to just put their foot through the fucking door and to tell that door that it doesn't own them. You own that door. Shit didn't start becoming such a problem for them. Like I said, I haven't lived your life, and some other people haven't lived your life either. But there, you just do not stop moving forward. You have to keep going forward. Well, and I'm not meaning suicide. I'm not saying any of that shit either. I'm implying that you just saying that you don't know what you're doing, you don't know where you're going, you're sick and tired of the bullshit that's happening, you're going in circles. I get that. Excuse me. I get that. I really do. 100%. But you're going to just keep going in circles and keep going in circles until you can just go for it. As difficult, and I've told you this many times in the past, it's not easy. It's never easy. It'll never be easy for you. Life never be easy for you, for me, for Cookie, for anyone. Life is not supposed to be easy. Life is supposed to be challenging. Life is supposed to make you appreciate things. Life is supposed to... do you want Nick to join you?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Life is supposed to make you feel like you're garbage. Life is supposed to make you feel like, well, fuck, what did I do this time? What has life done to me? When in reality, it's you that has fucked your life. I have fucked my life. Whoever else has fucked their own life. Not life. Life just gave you a guide. Life just gave you a direction. It was your choice to make whatever direction you wanted to go. And I do, like I said, it's not easy, and it never will be. But it's about the only option that you got. It really is. And don't worry, Rick. See, if he didn't want this to be all live streamed, I think Fox would have ended this way, way ago. When I asked him what happened. Although Fox doesn't really want to talk about it, he also can tell me to shush, and I will shush.
Nah, honestly, I kind of want people to get the idea of what's going on, because I'm done putting a facade about it, honestly.
See? That's just it. You're done with it. That's... If you're done with it, you need to prove to yourself that you're done with it. You need to be like, you know what? I have, 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks. Look, I don't know what you have been through, but I've been through stuff where I have anxiety. Can't go anywhere fun because of my anxiety, but I know that you have to keep moving forward. Exactly. Like I keep saying, it's not gonna be easy. It never will be easy. And Fox, at the same time, if you feel like you're alone, you know we're here. The community that you've grown to 800 subs, yeah, fine. Admit, or you can say all you want that it's only 800. Fuck off, dude. 800 is better than none. I'd rather have 800 people subscribed and joining and actually watching the videos and saying, hey man, what's going on, and showing that they care than have 0 people not fucking hearing this.
I know. And I do appreciate it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I know
I just don't really have an answer for all of this though, and honestly, I don't blame y'all for telling me what y'all telling me, but I just really don't know. I want to keep moving forward. I really do, but there's another part of me that's just telling me how much forward do you want to keep going? How far can we keep doing this? Like I said, it's been so much of a cycle that is crazy that I see other people go through something similar to this, something worse than this, and they came out on top. They had something that allowed them to be able to deal with that. But me, I've only been delayed in it. And though I am grateful and thankful for the people that helped me along the way, including, the people that I'm living with right now, it's just only temporarily. I would have felt more secure if I was able to take control over it. But I'm barely able to take control even my own life as much as I want to. And it sucks too, because why do I have to sacrifice my will just to please others? And for what? Just to still be told that you don't deserve this, you can't really live for this, or do this or that? Like, why do I see people are able to keep their free will, their ability to be free to do something that they need to do or want to do, but I can't? It's like slavery, but not physical slavery, more of a mental state of clouding your judgment, clouding your ability to feel that you're free. It's almost like a spiritual attack more than a physical, if anything. But it's done so much to the point I'm starting to think it's becoming physical as well.
Participate in any challenge if the price is right.
And have you... Go ahead.
And I'm sorry to say, and I'm sorry to interrupt though, but I feel like that's probably what's been starting to happen for these last couple of years too. It went from being something on a standard level of, you know, what is to come, and it ended up becoming something that went from a physical form of struggle to a much more in depth of it becoming physical and everyday struggles. And that's something that's common to deal with in real life in a sense, but also at the exact same time it feels like unnatural, I guess.
You're like you're not worth it. That anything that you do is not worth it. There's no point, there's no end, there's no good, there's no positive. There's nothing. It's all a blank mess.
Yeah, I felt like it was I feel like for everything that I went through so far, it might have been at a beginning, maybe a middle, but there's never been an end, or at least not a good one. And that's just where my frustration's been at. Like, it's never been in a way where, you know, I put effort in something, that's where I wanted to be at. The only time that probably has ever happened is back when I was living with my mother. It was probably more on a good note than a bad note. And it also was just due to the fact that the job I had at the time was, yes, it was a restaurant job, but at least it was a job that, you know, I grew to like and love. I grew with the people that I work with, and granted, even I worked there for like practically 2 years, I grew close with a lot of people over there. They were like second family to me, outside of my own, and you know, the people that I play games with and talk to over the years, like Rick's Crazy, and even you, and even Fawful's million at times too. It just really hurts that, you know, when you're unable to do so much and your help is through the reliance of others, that you feel indebted and you can never pay that debt. And that's where my frustration always came through. I know people may tell me that, you know, we doing this for you, we don't mind it, but I always felt like it sucks that when I feel like what sucked about it though for me is the fact that there's been times where I can't count, you know, the many times people help me, but I can't count the many times that I help, you know, I had the ability to help others, or wanted to have the ability to help others as much as they helped me. Yes, I helped them before and when I had the ability though, but it always seems to be so short-lived. And I think that's just where that the other extended part of that frustration came from. It's just my experience with life and the things I did, besides that one job at the restaurant I had, was all short-lived. Yeah, it's like not a lot of things in my life has been, you know, a long-term experience, other than the times I played games with the people that I grew up with, and that was just it. Though, if anything, the things that I do love also was sometimes be the reason why I've been put at odds with them, because my love for video games has its good moments, but it also has its dark ones too, some which I'm not really proud of. And the reason why I'm a certain way towards like that though, because I don't want it to go back to what I used to be. I don't want that to trigger that part of me that I want to relive all over again. Like yesterday, I was playing me and a couple of people in our Destiny clan was playing what is that? A clan battle crucible, and stuff like that. And in a sense, I was having fun. I did really enjoy myself despite me losing and stuff like that. But I think the frustration that I had with it though was just the fact that, yeah, I think the frustration that I had with that though was just more so that even though they was telling me what to do or how to do things, it wasn't the fact whether I knew how to do it or not, or whether I have done it or not. It's just that even with all that I know, I basically hit a limitation to it. I basically broken the limit but can't go any further, and that was just what bothered me in a sense, to the point where whenever we was in a disadvantage, I didn't really try. But that was just one of the excuses, or one of the many feelings that I have for that. But in truth, the reason why I didn't really try as much, or didn't put any effort except for a particular point of time in other battles, what it really was is I didn't want to bring back I guess competitive Fox, try hard Fox, if you want to prefer it that way. And that's just because while my competitive spirit could bring in the best of me in a competitive set, I didn't want to trigger the part of me that forgot how to have fun and how to treat people as a normal person. I didn't want that to be something that separate our friendship, or our closely brotherhood, sisterhood scenario. Because I'll be honest with you, tryhard Fox, he can be fun to play with at times, but against it's another story. And I think another issue with that though is that while I may have taken some wins before, I also had an issue with taking L's too sometimes, which sometimes I would beat myself up for it, or would say some things which I may eventually regret later. And it's usually things like that that I try to avoid a trigger. I don't want to go back to being something that I may regret and may not eventually care for, because I'm going to try to push, because I'm trying to force myself to be something that I'm not. Like, I would love to keep telling myself that I could push myself, further in the video game, and maybe I can, maybe I can't, but I just refuse to go back to being that person. I don't want to be the guy that doesn't care how he treats, as long as I do what it takes to win. That's all that matters. Yeah, Tryhard Fox wasn't always wasn't always a good guy. I was good, but I was good, and I knew how to be thankful whenever I had something good. But let it be one of those moments where I may end up being told no in a certain way, or be treated in a certain way due to my sportsmanship, and I have a problem with it. Or at least that's just how I used to be. And I just don't want to. I've not been the best brother. Sometimes I might not been the best friend, but I have a heart to try to turn the tables on them. But even after so much of the efforts, well, you only can get so much out of it.
Which shall you choose?
It's almost as if I'm looking at a mirror.
Bad luck, contestant. Did you
Like, you are literally saying all the shit that I told myself 3 years back when I was in a bad situation as well. Don't want to go back to it, don't want to do all that bullshit, don't want to make everyone else feel like I have to fight for little for nothing. You can be try hard, not lose yourself in that. I used to be a sore loser when I was a child, and losing made me upset. But as I got older, I'm still very competitive. I have full control of my anger. That's the thing, is, again, Fox, it's all on you. It is your stuff. And again, like I kept saying, and even Rick's, all of your best friends, everyone in here would agree with what I'm saying on it. It's not easy. It's never going to be easy. And yeah, it's definitely not fun. But
I know. Yeah, go ahead.
If it means, if you going back to being the person that takes control of your own life, which you need to do, go for it. Do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? The worst thing that's going to happen, yeah, you say, well, I lose my friends and want to be around. Bullshit. No matter how fucking annoying, how dumb you are, how retarded you sound, or how competitive you get, will always be around no matter what, because that is exactly what family does. Family and friends do that. And no matter how many times you hear that, yeah, whatever, no. If that was the case, we wouldn't have been friends 3 fucking years ago when I had a bad thought about it. Same old person. You're just another guy that wanted to play Infinite Warfare with. Just another person who wanted to play zombies that I'll play 1 or 2 matches with, and then I'm never going to talk to them again. That's what I had of you when I first thought about you. Just like any other person I played with. Now look, fucking 3 years later, and I'm having this conversation with you over you live stream while you're playing Destiny 2 and I'm playing World of Warcraft. I don't just do that for random fucking people. I don't. At least go this far. Yeah, I'll admit it, sometimes I'll have conversations about personal things, and I just straight up say, you either do it or you don't, and that's the end of the conversation. And they do it or they don't. For you, I will doing my damnedest to make sure that you don't pick that other option. And I'm trying my very hardest to not tell you you're being an idiot. Because, like I said, I may not have lived your life. I don't exactly have the same detail you do. With your problems, with your issues that you go through, that you feel, that you have heard, that you haven't heard, that you want to feel, that you can't feel. You haven't been through all of that. But on my personal terms, on my personal realm, I have done that same shit. I have gone through that same shit. I have gone to the point where I literally just flat out said, I'm done. Told it to all my family, told it to all my best friends. This is before I met you. Told it to everyone. And every single person was like, okay, if that's the case, I'm not going to your funeral. I'm not going to say anything. I won't even know that we're family. They won't even give 3 shits if we're together or not. And at that point in time, that act made me realize what I was missing out. And it made me push more. You wanna know what keeps us from not being so positive? What makes us go through all the hardship and then get what we deserve or what we want? Get off, Wesley. That's my desk. We looked at all that bad shit and we said, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck that bad shit. Fuck all that. Yeah, it's a problem. Yeah, it's difficult. But fuck that. I don't want to go through all that shit. Look who's behind my back. Look who's supporting me. Look who's doing all the shit that they can to help me. Like I said, yeah, you can bring your mother and your sister to this and say all the negative shits about it. Who cares? At least you're gonna be at their place. Who cares? You can still get your money. Yeah, I get it. With your sister, your sister was a little... She's not exactly what we would expect, but at this fucking point, man, you really don't have other options. And if you can't do it for your sister, go for your mother. She won't control your money. Whatever issues, I don't know. Obviously, yes, I don't know other issues, but the point is, you have to make your own choice and your own decisions on all that kind of shit. So whether or not you want to just go out there and tell them exactly what's going to happen, how it's going to be, and that you will work towards it, or you don't. And frankly, like I said, you don't got the other option. You really don't. Rix would even back me up on that. As much as Rix also would like to say that some of the shit that I'm saying is not exactly correct or right, but it's the truth. It's the honest truth. You don't got another option.
Yeah.
So you go for it. Go for it. Say what you want to say.
Hmm. I mean, the stuff you're saying is right. I'm not against what's being said, honestly.
It hurts. It's hard. It's not easy. It makes you want to not even try. It makes you just look back at your past like, we've gone through this shit before. It always ends the same. Still, as much as it always ends the same, at least you had a home. You had a place. I could still see you.
Yeah, had a place, have a home. But what I also was living in was an illusion. Because let me tell you something about what me and my family got going on. And let me start with me. So here's pretty much what you need to know about me. I'm the kind of person that likes video games quite a lot. We all can see that. We all can get past that. But I'm also a person that pretty much sets himself with limitations because of all the goods and bads that I've done in my life. I don't mind having fun and I don't mind going out, but I keep myself at a distance because I don't trust myself even though people trust me. I have trust insecurity issues, and part of it is just due to how I was raised and how I used to interact with people who I thought at a certain time were people that I could trust. Although there's been times I knew that being in that situation wasn't always going to end on a positive note. That's just how I'm always am. Like, I respect the people and I trust them, and I'm pretty sure they trust me. But for me, I don't trust myself. I also don't like giving out negative vibes, which is why I sometimes will keep myself at a distance and may not always interact with people in conversations. It's not that the conversations are not that interesting, although sometimes that may or may not be the case. It's also just due to the fact that despite the common interest or non-common interest, I only have yay so much to say about it because it's usually things that I may get into or may not, and sometimes I only get into yay so much of it. Another part is the fact that I have a mutual respect with one of my sisters. I'm at odds with another. I have a little brother who's probably questioning his sexuality or whatever the God knows what has been going on with him. But other than that, though, I used to be at odds with him, not really because of him, but how he was raised. He was raised better than the rest of us, and I took it out on him, and I felt bad about it. I didn't feel nothing of it until like way much later, but when me and him finally talked, me and him were almost like best friends. But I hate the fact that this our friendship or our brotherly, love for one another as brothers only lived so short because it took us so long to finally come to terms with one another. Like, he was feeling a different way in a sense because he knew me, but he didn't really know me. But after we talk and he kind of see what's been going on, like once he got an eye on Oprah, how everybody actually acts, he got the bigger picture of what's really been down. And that's just another thing is that I'm the kind of guy who would do some of the smartest things at times, but when been pushed into pressure or when I get put in a challenge, I will sometimes go in an overlord and may even unintentionally screw up. No, I will sometimes unintentionally screw up because that's just how I am. We all got our imperfections though, but my imperfections will happen even at the worst times, even completely by accident. We all have done some things that we may or not have been proud of. People will say they watch porn. I watched it too, but I would never admit it because I'm not the kind of person that'll express out every business, when it comes to stuff like that out and about. I also am the person that will be at odds with them depending on the circumstances. I have a speech problem, which I don't talk normally like how everybody else does, and sometimes the way how I talk makes me feel incomplete.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, sometimes I also have a habit of talking to myself because I can talk more confidently and calmly when it's just me, but if it's somebody else, it's a different story. I will even sometimes sleep with something on because I don't do well with darkness. And to tell you the truth, it's not entirely the darkness I'm afraid of, it's what I may think might be in darkness.
Yeah, you know, ghosts, monsters, scary shit like that. We've all
Demons, because we have,
all still think that.
yeah, because there is a heaven and there's also a hell too.
There is.
And honestly, though, even with all some of the bad stuff I could possibly name, I have some good, but it sucks that even with that good, there's just been a track record of all the shit I've done, and for the most part, it's not intentional, but because I'm at the worst place at the worst time, and my self-esteem and confidence isn't exactly in my favor in those situations, along with a lot of misunderstanding from people that may try to talk over me, it usually ends on a bad note. Then you got my sister, the one that I play games with. She's one that I probably got one of the most mutual respect towards with, if I'm not adding my brother to this before he was born. Me and her, we could play games, we could socialize here and there. She's cool and all that stuff. My only issue with her, though, is the fact that she sometimes sees things a little bit too black and white. And I say this because there was one time where I was shopping for my mother and came back. I brought, what's that? I got some different kinds of cereals and stuff like that. I think by the time she came back along with Shiloh, my other sister, they brought back, I guess, a guy too. I guess Cash was dating at the time. And we had two different perspectives with this whole scenario. So while we was going back and forth with this conversation, quote unquote, my mental thought was the fact that we was just all joking around. And you know, when they was on a when they was a little touchy feely about the you know, the cereal and stuff like that, my mind thinking that we was joking said that I guess y'all was dead to me, meant that as a joke, but to them it was serious. But because she seen that in her point of view, and I seen it in a joking point of view, we didn't ever talk to each other about it. So she ends up telling my mother, who she got pissed about it, which I even tried to tell her that I was unaware that they saw that as a serious matter and would apologize for it. I ended up getting kicked out the house at that moment. And that just goes to show that while my sister is cool for the most part, her lack of judgment sometimes isn't really the sharpest tool. I mean, but outside of all the other issues I could possibly name that she may or may not have, she's the least least irritating person that I have issues with in general. Another thing that kind of put two to two together with that situation was another time where, at the time, she was dating one of my closest friends at the time, or at least was hanging out with Rick's. I was unaware, however, though, that one of the other friends that we used to hang with, we called him, yeah, his name was George. He apparently was making some advancements through the entire time of her and him hanging out. So when she ended up telling my mother was pretty much pissed, wondering why I did not know. I, as a brother, was trying to give her some space, because I didn't want her to come up thinking that, you know, I'm a brother that has to be overprotected or anything like that. Yeah, I'm a protector of my sister, but I'm also going to at least try to make sure she has some space too. But I had no idea that she was going through all of that, and I felt bad for not knowing or saying too much at the time about it. Thank God the homie Riggs, you know, stopped him whenever he was making that advance when he was around her. But the only time I did see that happening though was pretty much when we was about to get ready to leave. But I had no idea that the whole thing was like that from the get-go when ever since we all went to the movie theaters at the time. So outside of the black and white scenario, the other issue I had with her with that was the fact that the women at my mother, that I was living with, basically my sisters and my mother, usually have a track record of not telling me shit until it's too late. Because there's been times where something has happened and I don't know about it until it's too late, and I feel upset because I can't do anything about it. But everybody gives me a crazy look like that should have been something you should have took care of, and I'm like, how can I take care of that if the situation y'all telling me is too late? Like, how do y'all want me to be y'all knight in shining armor if y'all don't tell me this stuff until it's too late? And try to work on it now, it's not gonna fix anything.
More excitement and
If anything, it might cause more trouble than solving it.
Dares of Eternity obstacle course.
So, aside from that and several other things, she's not the worst person out of the family that I have to deal with. And then there's my other sister. Now, my other sister, she's not a horrible person, but my issue with her is the fact that she lacks her own identity. She always was a copy and paste of her own mother, so even though she may sometimes would talk about anime or video games and whatnot and stuff like that, I also hate the fact that she doesn't really exert anything that gives her her own character or identity. It's like one minute you talking to, you know, I guess Shiloh Brown like an actual sister, but then once she tries to get all uptight and all that other stuff, try to autocorrect about what people's doing wrong instead of what she's doing wrong. She's not Shiloh Brown. She's basically just a sister trying to act like a mother who apparently has her own flaws but won't see it until it's too late. But now she's starting to have her own character, and now she's going through some of the stuff that me and my sister was going through. My father barely has been around in my life, but whenever he does what he can. He ain't perfect, but he acts human and treats his kids like human, which is why I could get around with him. My stepfather, I thought, was one of the worst people to deal with, but it later turns out he might not have been as bad as I thought he was. Based on what my sister Cash was telling me. She was, and keep in mind, the stepfather I'm talking about is my sister's father. And then there's the third one, the one that even Rick's and Crazy knows. My stepfather, my little brother's biological father, had a drinking issue, which will put him at odds. When he's not drunk, he's basically your best friend. When he is drunk, though, it's another whole nother story. And it just put a huge divide in the relationship with family and trust issues. But he, unlike another parent, has turned his life around, and actually, from what I'm hearing from my sister, is actually doing a lot better. But it's what sucks about him, though, is that there's been times where he's not always been a bad guy, even with his drinking, and he somehow gets himself in a situation that he himself doesn't really belong because somebody else has an issue with him. But at least he's doing okay. He somehow, despite all his issues, got a house that he can call home and can go to. And is, knows how to work. His family has a history of being a workaholic, knowing how to work. And then there's my mother. Probably the one I love the most, but also hate the most, if I be honest with you. She's a bipolar person, a hell of a hypocrite, and it's just really hard to meet ends with. You could tell her something that she likes and she stays like that, but boy oh boy, let it be one nasty thing and she's on you on it like stink or rice for days. It's even to the point where she had kicked me out and made it seem like it was my fault for, that issue. and she's not even a part of that issue. I can be at odds with my job, still be in it, and she'll get mad because I miss one day for not wanting to go to work because either I'm legitimately sick or I just want to give myself a break, even though I earned myself a day off. And granted, I might not have been her best son, though. Not everything I've done in her life, you know, has been a mess or her reason for where she's at right now. She's a woman that's stuck with diabetes and other sickness, but yet at the exact same time will make it seem like she can do everything when she chooses to. But let us make a complaint about it for legitimate reasons, and all hell breaks loose. Honestly, I could never get anywhere with my mother, except whenever she's in a good mood. And even then, that only lasts for so long. But that's not even one of the worst parts at all. The worst part about it is that she has a hell of a trust issue scenario, and little to nothing, she doesn't never really realize that the issues with, you know, the people that she bump heads with, the problem is usually not really with them, it's more so her. But she blames it on them because of what they did or what she assumes that they was trying to do with her. Which I call bullshit on so many reasons. And she's quite a control freak, honestly. My stepdad learned that the hard way. I learned that the hard way.
Fighting your final opponent, and the horse shall reward you.
And it's just not a pretty sight to deal with when you had to constantly deal with it.
My apologies, Destiny.
She also is drunk with money. Trust me when I tell you this. Once money starts rolling in, it's something. She knows how to manage it though, but she'll make it seem like she knows how to do better with it. Which, at the time when she did it, or when she was making money, yeah, she, you know, she had to say so about it. But at the exact same time, she didn't, because when it came to the point of us working and we helping her out, she doesn't really acknowledge that, and that's messed up because it's not like we trying to have any bragging rights about it. We ain't bragging it in front of her face. If anything, we just trying to show her that, hey, we here to help you. We doing what you tell us to do. We proving it. But why is it that so hard for you to believe it, even though we done this for like a year or two, almost 3 years, like consecutively, if anything? You even asked us to help, you know, make sure that our youngest brother has something for, you know, his birthday when you didn't trust, you know, such and such. And what's even worse is the fact that sometimes her sickness will get the best of her, and she, at more than once, nearly died. And guess what? The person that normally gives her shit, even though he's just, you know, acting like a kid, at his age, your boy here ends up saving her life because I care so much for her at the end of the day. And yet, at the end of the day, I'm also the exact same guy that doesn't give a fuck about his mother, regardless whether she's sick or not. And it's not the fact I don't care for her, I just don't like being forced to care. And that's what she doesn't get. I don't like having to be forced to do something if you don't say anything about it. But at least come to me as an actual person that's willing to understand. Because this whole time she only assumes that I don't care, and the fact is I don't care. It's just that nobody gives me a good enough a good explanation or a good, a good why. They gave me the who, was, whens, wheres, and how sometimes, but it's never a why to, you know, what I need to know the most. Why it really matters. And that's what also caused an issue to me being at odds with people. I'm uncomfortable with life because it didn't give me really the main important, you know, factor of this is where you need to be at. This is what you really need to know and why you need to know. Maybe then my perspective of things would have changed entirely, but I won't lie, I've done some things that I'm not proud of. Shit. I cuss, I cheat, I steal, and then when I did steal, I would normally be willing to give it back. Because at the end of the day, I don't feel proud of doing stuff like that. I don't steal like that, so let's get that out the way. It's very rare that I even steal, but the times I do, I will feel bad about it, I will give it back. But I don't like being misunderstood because of my speech problems or the way I say or think things. I may know what to say in my mind though, but when speaking it out, it's just a whole nother story. And I will try to autocorrect it, but people like to focus on acting on the here and now. And maybe it's because the lack of not trying hard enough, or maybe it's just because people are just too impatient to wanting to understand.
I think the thing is you just think too much.
Maybe.
You really do. No, you really do. This entire time you have not once thought about not thinking.
I mean, how can I? I mean, reality is really hard to depict. You don't know what's real and what's not. Some people's niceness is out of generosity, but then you got others that will stab you in the back because they have their own agendas. Life isn't black and white, and that's just why I'm like this. I don't want to think that my friends are, you know, a nuisance, and they not. It's just, I don't want to feel like I'm a nuisance to them because the way how I think and feel, how I see things. I got my own insecurities, and part of it is due to how I brought myself up, but how people was trying to bring me up as well. It's always a half and half. There's always some good and some bad. And I'm tired. I think I'm so broken to the point where I haven't even cried God knows how long. I'm sometimes too broken to even cry or even want to cry. Sometimes I have so much in my chest that
that you just don't want to do it because what, you're afraid? Are you afraid of yourself? Are you telling yourself that you're worried? That you can't do it? That if you do it, you're going to be weak? That if you try to show any sort of shred of human traits that you might be lesser than yourself? Like, what? No. You don't get that right to feel that way. You don't. You don't get to feel that way because you're not robotic. You can cry. You can feel like everything like that is falling apart. You can feel that. You have every right to do that. But you don't have any right to assume that because, well, if I cry or whatever the intention is, no, you don't get that right to assume. You don't. And for you to even think that you're too broken to cry, no one's too broken to cry. No one's too broken for anything. The only time you're ever truly broken is if you're not alive. And yeah, you might not feel like you're alive, but everyone feels that way. Quit being so dramatic. Just don't even fucking go down that direction. It's dumb, it's stupid, it doesn't do anything for you, it doesn't do anything for your friends. It doesn't do anything, period. And yes, I understand that the life situations, from what you told me, I would be very worried about where I'm going. But again, man, it all goes down to you have no other option.
Trials ahead.
It all boils down to that. Because as soon as you just say, I'm not going to go to there, or I'm not going to do it, I'm sorry, but none of us can help you then at that point. And maybe that's what you need, is you don't need our help. You need to help yourself. Maybe you need to look at yourself and just say, what am I doing wrong? What did I do wrong? What has happened? And instead of going, well, hot negative with a little dash of negative and a side of negative, look at the positives. Look at the positive shit on everything. Just look at positives. Just think of the good things. You know, yes, I don't know how many times I can stress it. It's not easy. Very difficult. Hell, it gets to the point where it's extremely stressful. But it's not going to keep you in the situation where you're in now. I mean, shit. Like I said, 3 years ago, I was in the same position. Didn't know what to do, didn't know where to go, kept arguing with my mother and my sister, made them feel like they're absolute trash, all this other bullshit. All the other shit that no child should ever do to their family. I was your mother. Controlling, wanted to have all the money, wanted to make sure that he just played games, was a lazy little fucker. Wishes that everyone would fucking take care of him and no one else. Fuck everyone, fuck the world, fuck this, fuck that, fuck family. Family's useless. Family's bullshit. That's what I used to think. And then I just told myself to fuck off. It was difficult. It was hard to admit defeat, but you'll never grow unless you admit defeat. And that, from all that you're telling me, that's all you gotta do. It's simple. Easy and simple are two different things, Fox. Simple is just straightforward. Easy is the journey to get to that. It's not easy, and it never will be easy. But it's simple. You gotta realize that you just need to stop thinking about all the negative shit, all the bad shit. Don't worry about what everyone's gonna think about your speech impediment or, you know, how you feel or what you did or what. No one fucking cares. We're glad that we can be able to get up in the morning, do our own thing, and see you, play games with you, and all that good shit. You know? There's no reason, or there should just be no point in your life for you to feel like what you're doing is not going to get you anywhere, or is wrong, or is bringing people down, or anything like that. It's not. It's not bringing anyone down. It's making people annoyed. It's making people tired of it. It's making people not want to help you out. I'll be brutally honest with that. But at the same time, though, it's not like we haven't been in that situation. It's not like we haven't done that shit. It's not like we haven't gone to the breaking point of no return. So, like I keep saying, it's not easy. It's simple. And you can keep going back and forth, going in circles, telling me all the shit that happened in your life, all the bad, all the nasty, whatever you want to tell me. That was back then, man. This is now. This is what you got. You have 2 weeks to figure out your life, to figure out what your next move is. And for what it sounds like, you don't even know. And if you don't even know, I can't help you. And if I can't help you, I hope Ricks can. But from what Rick said about being a tryhard and don't lose yourself in him, being a sore loser, and, well, him being a sore loser and all that shit, he also stated, as I got older, I'm still very competitive, but I still have full control of my anger. That's your thing, is you feel like you have no control, but you do have control. It might not feel like it does. You might feel like, well, life this, life that. Fuck life. Life, like I said earlier, life's not supposed to be taking control of you. You take control of your life. You take control of life. You grab it by the balls and rip it off if you want. Or you don't. And from what it sounds like, you don't want to grab it by the balls. You just want to let life take control of you. And I'm not going to apologize for how I was acting. I will just tell you right now. It's what you need to hear, because it's what I needed to hear. It's what every one of your friends needed to hear at some point. It's the brutal, honest truth. And that's all you need to hear, because that's the only way how you'll ever grow from it, is if someone tells you what you're afraid to hear. And even if you might feel like you're not afraid, you might even say, no, I'm not afraid. You are afraid, because you're afraid of failure. Just like a YouTube channel, you'll never fucking fail if you don't try. But you'll never know if you succeeded unless you do try. So, figure it out, man. And I'm not saying that as in like, figure it out, yeah, I'm your stepdad. No, I'm saying literally as a friend to friend, a brother to brother. If you want to consider me that, you can. You don't have to, your choice. But person to person who's been through that shit, literally just take one day to figure it out. It's all you need to do. Just look at yourself, look at the things that happened, and just said, okay, what went wrong? Or what went right? Whatever the case may be. Just look at it and figure it out. Because it's not that difficult to figure out. Or, what's the opposite of simple? It's pretty simple to figure out, I'm sorry. That might have been confusing, but still. Point is, you can figure it out. You really can. And you're not retarded, you're not stupid, no matter how many times you feel like with your speech impediments or the way how you can't form a sentence properly, you'll fucking figure it out. You're not retarded. I have met my other good friend where I used to work at Town Country, same fucking way. You and him, you guys could probably go for days talking about one subject and still find more things to talk about. Because that's how he was. He can't speak properly at all. I mean, he can, or I shouldn't say that. He cannot form a sentence as quick as most people. He cannot also say things as properly as other people can. But at the same time, once he's hit rock bottom, every single time that he's hit rock bottom, he's always told himself, what can I do? What did I do wrong? Okay, this happened. This is what I can do. This is how I can change. Or, this should be done instead. He's always grabbed life by the balls. So, I don't know what much more to tell you, man. I really don't. I can't give you the answers to why. I can't give you the answers to what or how. All I can tell you is that the path is simple. It just, you need to take control of it or you don't. I love you, man. I really do. Like I said, that was an honest thing. I would love to just wake up in the morning and all I see is Fox Legends streaming or playing a game, asking me to play games. The day that you stop doing that is the day that I start being concerned, start being worried. You might be saying that doesn't make me feel better. It's not supposed to. It's never going to make you feel better, but it'll make you think, shit, maybe I shouldn't go down. Not even I love you. Rix loves you. Your sister and your sisters and your brothers love you. Your mother, she does love you. Yes, the way how their personalities all intertwine, how they all act together, it doesn't exactly make a good cookie jar, albeit. But at the same time, though, you guys are all that you got for each other. It really is, and at one point, your entire family will realize that. Whether it be on your deathbed, your sisters, your brother, or your mother, father, stepfather, doesn't fucking matter. In due time, you guys will understand how precious that shit is, and it'll make you start thinking. It'll make you start wondering. It'll make you look back at this kind of conversation we're having, make you think, I'm really glad I didn't fall into it with the bullshit that I was telling myself where I was going at. I'm really glad I went the positive route.
Choose the door hiding your final opponent, and the horse shall reward you.
And I understand it's hard to swallow. It really is. But the only way you can keep going is to hear the truth.
Incorrect.
I mean, even I still, 3 years later, actually feeling happy, I still have my moments where I cry. Just 3 weeks ago, before I became it, or my last week before being engineer, or my second to last week before being... See, I have problems too. Before being engineer, or my last week of being engineer, Jesus Christ. Finally we got there. I had to cry. I actually went into the bathroom, and I took a long 15-minute session or so of crying. because I was stressed, I was worried, I felt like I was doing everything wrong, I felt like I wasn't the best person, I felt like I was only there just to be a body. That was it. Until finally I just looked in the mirror and I told myself that I needed to shut the fuck up. I needed to look at what I was doing and how I was acting. At that point, I started looking at things in a more positive way again. And then I went back to normal. I started smiling, I started being happier. I finally understood that my boss wasn't really a boss. My boss was a dickhead, someone that wanted to control me. I took life by the balls and told my boss that I'm not going to be in control of him no more. And I went to a different area. I am now in production, which makes me 1,000 times more happier and comfortable. Because I went at the source of what the negativity was, ripped it apart, and turned something positive instead. It wasn't easy. I had to get rid of probably the one shot of making more than what I'm making now, or one of the very few shots in due time. But I know in the long run, it's going to make me not regret it. I won't feel so upset, and who knows, maybe for doing that, something good might happen again. You never fucking know.
Hey, nah, you're right.
Like I said, like I keep saying. Give me 1 second. You know, it does hurt a lot.
It's just gonna take some time for me to cope with the reality of it.
And honestly, that's perfect because it does hurt to know the reality. It doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't make you feel like you've done anything right or positive or anything. It doesn't make you feel positive, like I said, but still, take the time, take as long as you need. Hell, even if you have to say or put in community chat or whatever, I don't want to talk to anyone right now, I need some time myself, all of us are going to understand. We would rather see you come back to stream and be all happy and saying that something good happened, or you have your idea in check, or you have an idea of what's going to happen. We'd rather see you say that than you say, well, I just don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. No one wants to hear that, and especially your family. Because the only thing that we want to hear from you is that you're living, you're surviving, you're striving, you're doing all of the things that we didn't think you could possibly do. So, it is your choice, obviously, and I know you'll want to listen, you'll probably do it, but I just like to give it out there because I am understanding. You do not have to listen to what I have said. You do not have to agree, you do not have to feel like I am taking control. You could say I am trying to control your life. You could say all that, and I would be completely 100% understanding of it. But, in my honest, heart-to-heart opinion, I think you really should take what I said in consideration, look at the reality check of it, and see where it goes for you for there.
Yeah, I appreciate this. I really do.
You're welcome. No, I feel you. Like I said, Fox, I love you. You are a brother to me.
I appreciate that, and you are to me too.
I can't give you the world. I can't give you anything. All I can give you is a pathway or a guideline or an idea of what can be done.
And I understand that. I'm just trying to get people to understand. Is
Yeah.
where my goal is. Just to meet in the middle, so they won't feel
Yeah.
like, oh, this is where he's at, or this is where the vibe is supposed to be at. Because I don't want to think people are not doing enough. That's not the case. And honestly, it's just like I said. Um, you know, it's like I said about me crying and me getting the competitive thing. It's not the fact that whether I go back to it. Yeah, it's not the fact that whether I'm able to cry or not, or whatever the case may be. It's just more so where will I be going even after I do this? Because I know nobody never knows the future, but I don't know how to handle it. I guess it's where I'm getting at with it.
You're scared. You're worried. Don't. It is a scary thought. It is a thought that really makes you cry to the bone. It really does do that. But at the same time, though, like I said about YouTube, about your channel, you will never know unless you try. You cannot fail if you don't try it, but you can never succeed if you don't try it either. I know you'll succeed. There's been multiple times where you have told me that, hey, I have a buddy over here that wants me to come down here, or say I can come down here, or my sister, yada yada. You have, on multiple occasions, have gotten past what was considered impossible. There's been multiple times where I honestly thought that you would not make it back on the PlayStation or make an answer to me. And instead, you have said, no, I'm good over here, I'm now moved at this place, or Rick's picked me up, or Rick's did, or I think I said that twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Crazy.
Kuda, crazy, whoever. You have done things that you just don't see because you're clouded with negativity. Look at that as well. Take that into consideration. You have gone this far. You can keep going this far. Just, you have to keep going, like what Cookie said.
Yeah. I think out of the things of negative, out of these things of this negativity mindset, I think what gets me the most is doubt. If anything, the doubt I think doubt was always been the major factor of my greatest weakness, because of the lack of feels towards what's real and what's not. Sometimes I probably do care too much, and other times I probably don't, but never could really cope with it, because it never could be one or the other for me. Try to be optimistic about it, but
that's all you can do. You have to be optimistic about it, because even though doubt is a very easy tool to be, or an easy tool to use of destruction, it's also a very easy tool to get rid of as well. Because doubt is just your imagination. It's just your thought process. Even though, yes, if you add doubt and anxiety and all the other negative bullshit to it, then you will say doubt is not easy to get rid of. No, get rid of all that other shit. Just remove all that other shit. Put doubt as base form. Pretty simple or pretty easy to get rid of. It's just your imagination. And besides, man, you're fine. You really are fine. You got this. You know you got this. You just needed
Welcome
someone to let you know
to
that you need to stop being a little bitch
Dares of
about it
Eternity,
and just
where
grab it by the
reality
balls.
is made up, and your repeated
I
deaths
probably should not use that phrase because
do
now
not
I'm getting
matter.
disgusted by it. I'm not gonna lie. It is a very weird phrase for me, but at the same time, it does get the point across.
Wait, yes, yeah.
No, it's harsh, but you know. Baby Outlet. Yeah, my baby boy. Okay, I do have work in the morning, and I'm not trying to skip you out to be an asshole. I
No,
really
no,
am
no.
not.
I get that. Go ahead
Yeah.
and get your rest, man.
I'll do my thing. I'll see you in the morning, and if you feel like you need, like I said, if you need time, man, grabs by the horns works as well. Exactly, yeah, grab the bull by the horns. Thank you, Riggs.
Spin the wheel
See?
to learn which opponents are about
Oh,
to
that's what I
take
was
the
gonna say. If you need a day, man, if you need even just the week, if you need the last 2 weeks to yourself, none of us is gonna say anything about negativity. We really, honestly, and truly, believe it or not, we really will not say anything bad about it. I mean, shit. If you doubt that, are you really friends with us? Do you even know us?
pulled from deep
I
within
mean,
a vault of glass.
Rix. I'm assuming Rix is the one that you've known the longest. I think, or either that was Crazy, or maybe it was both. I can't remember.
Both.
But you can ask any of them. Do you believe that if I take a day off, or take the last 2 weeks off of not talking with you, saying $100 fucking bucks, $1,000, Rix and Crazy both say, nah, man, just let me know if there's anything I can do, or try to keep in contact with me as best as possible. Not once will they ever say, how dare you. And don't feel like they ever will. That's not how a family works.
Yeah.
That's not how true family works. I'm sorry. Another saying too. I have blood that ain't family, and I have family that ain't blood.
Not
I
bad.
know. I know. I had to steal that from the Fast and the Furious, but still.
More foes pour into this realm
So.
at the behest
All right, I'm gonna head out.
of ageless
I'm
horse.
like I said, you let me know if I need to do anything to help you out as best as I can. I mean, I really wish I could keep you over here. I honestly, seriously wish I could.
Nah, man, I understand. I do appreciate it, though. Well, some people can only do yay so much, and others, well...
Others can go beyond, above and beyond, and be with you in 4 hours. So... Alrighty, Fox. I love you to death, man. I really do.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro. You go ahead and take care of yourself.
I will. You as well. Have a
I'll
good
try.
night.
You too.
More excitement and prizes await you beyond the
Well, so far,
demented
as all
depths
as I
of
heard,
eternity
it's not wrong.
obstacle course.
I guess it's just the will of seeing it through. That's all that matters.
are not here to make friends, for they are the Hive. Oblige. Final Hive and move to the next round.
I really wish you brought that down sooner. Hiding your final opponent, and the horse shall reward you. A brilliant choice from tonight's most gifted contestant. Enjoy the horse's fate.
A powerful Vex takes the stage. The horse demands, I tell you to have fun out there. Learn that our lucky winner will be bringing back the tower. Treasures pulled from the Paraverse itself. Just like our contestants on tonight's Dares of Eternity. Good night. Perhaps this is why the Knight sent me here. I hope to be here again. Strength is not enough in some fights, Titan. To do what you say is to speak in a language of pure meaning. I think you have terrible need of my gifts. The mind's eye is still watching. My will is not my own, is yours. I may be here when you return.
Man, this last one right here.